Now what we're going to review is how to determine if your bacteria are motile. And there's two methods we're going to show you. First is a wet mount. To do a wet mount, all you need, first of all, is a clean, blank slide. And if your culture is on a solid medium, such as an agar slant, which we have here, you're going to have to add a little bit of liquid. So we're just going to get some water using our inoculating loop. I usually recommend about 3 loopfuls is about the right amount. So 3 loopfuls of water. Doesn't have to be sterile. Right in the middle of the slide. And then, using sterile technique, transfer a little bit of bacteria to the drop of water. So we'll have to turn on the burner, of course, and flame our inoculating loop in the usual way. And I'm going to put a little bit of E. coli on the slide. E. coli is actually a motile bacterium. Turn that off a little too soon there. Okay, just as we did before. A little tiny bit of bacteria. And we're going to do this a little bit differently. We're not going to be doing a bacterial smearing. We don't want this to dry out. So we're just going to transfer a little bit of bacteria. Just make sure a little bit get off into the drop without spreading it around too much. So there's plenty of bacteria in there. You can even see that it's a bit cloudy. Flame the loop, again from the base towards the tip. And all we have left to do is put a cover slip on top of the slide and then take a look at it under the microscope. So putting it down at an angle and just letting it gently fall down. You might get a few bubbles, that's okay. Bubbles actually help you find the plane of focus you're looking for. So now I'll put it on the microscope, and when I know what I want to look at is going to be at 1000x, I'll just put it straight at low power. And at low power, you need to find more or less what you're looking for. So if you have difficulty finding the plane or level you want to focus at, find a bubble or the edge of your cover slip and focus on that. And also, this is where you're going to want to adjust your diaphragm. So you want to close it almost all the way. And that'll give you sufficient contrast so you can actually see the bacteria. So I'm focusing on the edge of a bubble here and centering that. And now I'm ready to go to oil immersion. So I'm going to turn off the Bunsen burner. Don't need that. Place a small drop of immersion oil on top of the cover slip. And go straight to oil immersion. And adjusting the fine focus again, finding the edge of the bubble, getting that in focus, and boom, there are the bacteria, and you can see some very motile E. coli. The one thing you have to be careful with when you're judging motility using a wet mount is to avoid confusing streaming with motility. That's the one problem with a wet mount, is when the bacteria are streaming on the slide surface. It's kind of like floating down the stream. You can't confuse that with motility. So to avoid that problem, you'll probably want to do a hanging drop, which is what we'll do next.